Partly, he admitted, but also because what you and Lyra have built is extraordinary. The market predictions alone are worth billions, but the healthcare applications. He shook his head in genuine admiration. You're going to save lives on a scale most people can't comprehend. Sophia studied the man who had once broken her heart. You know, don't you, about Lyra? Marcus met her gaze steadily. I had my suspicions at the conference. The background check, or lack thereof, confirmed something was unusual. Then I saw her with Arya one day, catching a falling glass before it had fully tipped. He paused. I've had a team analyzing your algorithm. No human could have conceived those mathematical principles. They're beyond our current evolutionary capabilities. And that doesn't frighten you? It did at first, he conceded. Until I saw how she is with Arya, how she is with you. Through the window, they could see Lyra helping Arya down from the tree, their laughter visible even at a distance. I want to counter your offer, Sophia said, turning back to Marcus. Instead of you acquiring us, we propose a merger of equals. Celestial Blackwood Technologies. Joint leadership, combined resources, shared vision. Marcus raised an eyebrow. That's unexpected. It makes sense, Sophia continued. Your infrastructure, our innovation, your market presence, our growth potential. She met his gaze directly. And it gives Arya parents who work together instead of against each other. And Lyra? Where does she fit in this new arrangement? As an equal partner. Her insights are what make our technology revolutionary. Marcus was quiet for a moment, his business acumen clearly battling with personal considerations. The board won't like ceding so much control. They will when they see the full capabilities of what we're developing next. Sophia handed him a tablet with projections that made even Marcus's eyes widen. Is this possible? With Lyra's input, yes. Later that evening, as the sun set over the mountains surrounding Aurora Peak, Sophia, Lyra, Marcus, and Arya sat on the deck of Sophia and Lyra's home. The adults shared wine while Arya practiced coding on her tablet, occasionally asking Marcus for help with particularly complex problems. To new beginnings, Marcus proposed, raising his glass. To family, Lyra countered, her violet eyes reflecting the emerging stars, some of which Sophia now knew. We're home to civilizations as advanced beyond Earth as humans were beyond single-celled organisms. As darkness fell, Arya looked up from her tablet. Can we see your star tonight, Lyra? Marcus choked slightly on his wine. Her what? Sophia and Lyra exchanged a glance. They had decided to tell Arya a simplified version of the truth, reasoning that a child who could understand quantum computing could handle the concept of extraterrestrial life. Not with the naked eye, Lyra explained gently, but I can show you where it is. She pointed to a section of sky, tracing an invisible pattern. There, that's home. One of your homes, Sophia corrected softly. Lyra smiled, reaching for Sophia's hand. Yes, one of them. Marcus watched this exchange with a mixture of wonder and caution. I still have questions, he said, about where this all leads, about what her people want with our technology. They don't want it, Lyra assured him. My decision to stay was personal, not strategic. If anything, they consider Earth a developing world with potential, nothing more. That's humbling, Marcus admitted. It should be, Sophia agreed, but it doesn't change what we can build together. As the stars fully emerged above them, the four sat in a moment of unlikely peace, a constellation of their own making. Former lovers, now cautious allies, an extraterrestrial who had found her heart on an alien world, a brilliant child with the DNA of one species and the influence of another. And between them all, a vision for technology that would change humanity's future, guided by the gentle hand of someone who had already seen where such paths could lead. Mom, can I have ice cream? Arya asked, breaking the philosophical moment. Sophia laughed. Some things remain constant across the universe, she said. Children always want dessert. As they moved inside, Sophia paused to look back at the night sky. 6 years ago, she had walked away from Blackwood Technologies with nothing but her broken heart and an unborn child. Now she stood at the threshold of a new empire, one built not on Marcus's ambition or Lyra's otherworldly knowledge alone, but on the strength she had found within herself. From betrayal's ashes, she had forged something stronger than Marcus had ever imagined possible. And in doing so, she had created not just a company but a constellation, a family as unique as the stars themselves. A hush fell over the room. Sophia smiled tightly. Any similarity is coincidental. Our approach uses quantum principles that weren't even theoretical 6 years ago. 6 years, Marcus repeated meaningfully. Interesting time frame. Later, as they gathered their materials, Marcus approached the stage. We need to talk, Sophia, privately. I have nothing to say to you, she replied, packing up her laptop. It's not about the algorithm. It's about Aria. Lyra stepped between them. This isn't the place, Mr. Blackwood. Marcus assessed Lyra with narrowed eyes. And what exactly is your relationship to my daughter? She is not your daughter, Sophia hissed, keeping her voice low. You made that very clear when you told me children didn't fit into your 5-year plan. I made a mistake, Marcus admitted, his usual composure slipping. I've had many regrets about how I handled things between us. Save your regrets, Sophia said. We've done fine without you. I can see that, he replied, his gaze shifting to Lyra. Though I'm curious about your partner. Ms. Nova seems to have appeared out of nowhere 6 years ago. No digital footprint before Aurora Peak. No academic records despite her apparent expertise in astrophysics. Lyra stiffened beside Sophia. You've been investigating me? I investigate all my competitors, Marcus said smoothly. Though I must admit you're particularly difficult to trace. Almost as if you're not from around here at all. The pointed comment hit too close to a truth Sophia had begun to suspect, but had never confronted directly. That evening, in the privacy of their suite, Sophia finally asked the question that had lingered between them for years. Who are you really, Lyra? Lyra sat on the edge of the bed, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. I've never lied to you about who I am, only where I'm from. And where is that exactly? Lyra looked up, her violet eyes reflecting starlight that wasn't present in the room. You've already guessed, haven't you? You're too brilliant not to have seen the signs. I need to hear you say it, Sophia whispered. I come from a system you call Trappist-1, Lyra said simply. My people have observed Earth for centuries. I was sent as a researcher to study human innovation. I was never supposed to become involved. Sophia sank into a chair, her mind racing to process the confirmation of what had seemed impossible. The algorithm, your insights, are based on mathematical principles universal to all advanced civilizations, Lyra finished. I didn't give you answers, Sophia. I just helped you ask different questions. Before Sophia could respond, there was a knock at the door. Aria, who had been watching cartoons in the adjoining room with a babysitter, called out, I'll get it. Aria, wait. Sophia rushed into the room, but Aria had already opened the door to reveal Marcus standing in the hallway, a gift-wrapped package in his hands. Hello, Aria, he said gently. I brought you something. Sophia positioned herself between them. You need to leave. I just want 5 minutes, Marcus said, his voice uncharacteristically pleading. Please, Sophia. Aria looked between them, her quick mind making connections. Is he someone important, Mom? The question hung in the air, forcing a moment of truth Sophia had hoped to postpone until Aria was older. Yes, she admitted finally. He is. Marcus's eyes softened with gratitude. He knelt to Aria's level. I knew your mother a long time ago, before you were born. Are you my father? Aria asked directly, demonstrating the perceptiveness that sometimes unnerved even Sophia. Marcus looked up at Sophia, waiting for her permission to answer. After a long moment, she nodded slightly. Yes, he said. I am. Aria studied him with the analytical gaze she'd inherited from both parents. Why haven't I met you before? That's complicated, Marcus replied, but I'd like to change that if your mother agrees. Lyra appeared in the doorway, her presence a silent reminder of the family they had built without him. Marcus rose, meeting Lyra's gaze with unveiled suspicion. There's a lot we all need to discuss. He handed the package to Aria. This is for you. Something to help with your coding. Inside was a state-of-the-art tablet specifically designed for teaching advanced programming to children. Aria's eyes lit up despite Sophia's discomfort. After Marcus left, promising to be in touch, a heavy silence fell over the suite. Aria, sensing the tension, retreated to her tablet while Sophia and Lyra spoke in hushed tones in the bedroom. He'll want a place in her life now, Sophia said, and with his resources he could make things difficult if I refuse. Do you want to refuse? Lyra asked carefully. Sophia sighed. I don't know. He abandoned us, but he's still her father. Should I deny her the chance to know him? What about us? Lyra asked softly. Does his presence change things between us? Sophia took Lyra's hands. Nothing changes how I feel about you, she hesitated. But I need time to process what you've told me. About where you're from. I understand, Lyra said, though her eyes betrayed her fear. I've always known this day would come. Later that night, as Arya slept and Sophia lay awake beside Lyra, she found herself in an impossible position, caught between her past with Marcus, her future with a woman who wasn't even human, and her daughter who deserved to know the truth about both her parents. What had begun as a professional triumph had turned into a collision of worlds. Personal, professional, and literally astronomical. And somehow Sophia had to find a way forward that protected both her heart and her daughter. 3 months after the technology summit, Celestial Systems headquarters in Aurora Peak had expanded to accommodate their growing team. The once small company had become the industry's newest sensation, with their predictive algorithm redefining what was possible in fields ranging from medicine to climate science. Sophia stood at the window of her office, watching as Arya climbed the large oak tree in the courtyard under Lyra's watchful eye. The scene was deceptively normal, a child playing while her parent supervised, except that Lyra occasionally used subtle, telekinetic abilities to prevent Arya from falling when she reached too far. The revelation of Lyra's origins had been followed by weeks of long conversations, tears, and eventually, a deeper understanding. Sophia had 1,000 questions about Lyra's world, her people, why she had chosen to stay on Earth when her research mission had ended years ago. I stayed for you, Lyra had explained simply. My people understand attachment. They didn't approve, but they allowed me to remain. Their relationship had emerged stronger, though fundamentally changed by this new knowledge. Sometimes at night, Lyra would point to stars visible from their bedroom window and tell stories of worlds Sophia could barely imagine. The corporate landscape had shifted as well. Marcus had made good on his promise to be part of Arya's life, beginning with supervised visits that had gradually expanded to include weekends at his Seattle penthouse. To Sophia's surprise, he proved to be a patient and attentive father, genuinely interested in Arya's development. What hadn't changed was his business instinct. 3 weeks after discovering his daughter's existence, Blackwood Technologies had made a formal offer to acquire Celestial Systems, an offer Sophia and Lyra had immediately rejected. Now, as Sophia watched her family through the window, her assistant knocked on the door. "Mr. Blackwood is here for your meeting," she announced. Marcus entered the office, as immaculately dressed as ever, but somehow softer around the edges. Fatherhood, even part-time, had changed him in subtle ways. "The board's revised offer is on the table," he said without preamble, setting his briefcase on her desk. "Triple the original valuation plus seats on the executive committee for both you and Lyra." "The answer is still no, Marcus," Sophia replied, turning from the window. "We've built Celestial Systems from nothing. We're not interested in seeing it absorbed into Blackwood." Marcus sighed, removing his jacket and loosening his tie, a gesture that reminded Sophia of quieter moments from their past. "This isn't just business anymore, Sophia. It's about family, about Arya's future. Is that why you suddenly want my company? For Arya?" Sophia thought of Marcus, of Blackwood Technologies, which had grown even larger using her stolen work. "No," she admitted, "but we can't hide forever." Lyra reached across the table, her fingers intertwining with Sophia's. "Not hiding," she corrected gently. "Gathering strength." Their touch lingered, charged with an unspoken connection that had been growing between them. In the soft glow of the computer screen, Sophia saw Lyra not just as her business partner or her daughter's beloved Aunt Lyra, but as someone who had become essential to her heart. Later that night, after Arya was asleep, they stood on the porch beneath a sky blazing with stars. When Lyra kissed her, Sophia felt like she was falling into that vast expanse, frightened and exhilarated all at once. "I've wanted to do that for a long time," Lyra whispered. "What took you so long?" Sophia asked, her hands tracing the contours of Lyra's face, feeling the unusual warmth of her skin. Lyra's smile held a touch of sadness. "There are things about me you don't know, Sophia. Then tell me." Lyra looked up at the stars. "Not yet, but soon." 6 years after leaving Seattle in tears, Sophia Chen stepped off the elevator into the Grand Hyatt's ballroom foyer, now transformed into a reception area for the West Coast Technology Summit. Celestial Systems had been invited to present their breakthrough in predictive analytics, a technology that had caught the attention of major players in Silicon Valley. Nervous? Lyra asked, adjusting the lapel of Sophia's tailored blazer. Her own attire, a flowing silver dress that complemented her unique complexion, turned heads, though Lyra seemed oblivious to the attention. Not about the presentation, Sophia replied, scanning the crowd. About who might be here. Arya, now 6 years old and precocious beyond her years, tugged at Sophia's hand. Mom, can I go look at the robot display? She pointed to a demonstration in the corner, her blue eyes, so like her father's, wide with excitement. Stay where we can see you, Sophia cautioned, watching as her daughter navigated the crowd with confidence that belied her age. She'll be fine, Lyra assured her. She's the smartest person in this room, present company included. They shared a smile, the kind that held private meanings and promises for later. Their relationship had blossomed over the years into something neither had anticipated, but both treasured deeply. The reception buzzed with industry leaders, venture capitalists, and innovators. Celestial Systems might have been small, but their technology had generated enough interest to warrant prime placement in the conference schedule. Sophia Chen, I thought you'd fallen off the face of the earth. The voice from behind her sent ice through Sophia's veins. She turned slowly, coming face to face with Marcus Blackwood for the first time in 6 years. He looked older, distinguished rather than aged, with touches of gray at his temples that only enhanced his authoritative presence. His company had quadrupled in size since she left, becoming a titan in the AI field. Marcus, she acknowledged, keeping her voice level. How surprising to see you taking an interest in smaller companies. His smile didn't reach his eyes. I make it my business to know my competition. His gaze shifted to Lyra, assessing. And you are? Lyra Nova, she replied, extending her hand. Co-founder of Celestial Systems. When they shook hands, Marcus frowned slightly as if something about the contact disturbed him. Your presentation tomorrow has generated buzz, he continued. Predictive analytics that outperform anything on the market by 200%. Remarkable claims. Not claims. Results, Sophia corrected. Verified by 3 independent research groups. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Based on proprietary algorithms, I understand. Completely original work, Sophia emphasized, the implication clear. Before Marcus could respond, a small voice interrupted them. Mom, they let me control the robot arm. Arya rushed up, breathless with excitement. Time seemed to freeze. Marcus stared at the child, recognition dawning in his eyes as he took in her features, the shape of her eyes, the set of her jaw so similar to his own. And who is this? He asked quietly. Sophia placed a protective hand on Arya's shoulder. This is my daughter Arya. Arya, this is Mr. Blackwood. He owns a technology company. Like you and Lyra? Arya asked innocently. Something like that, Sophia replied. Marcus's gaze hadn't left Arya's face. How old are you, Arya? 6, she answered promptly. But I read at a 9th grade level and I can code in Python. A muscle twitched in Marcus's jaw. Impressive. You must be very proud, he said to Sophia, his tone laden with unasked questions. Every day, she replied evenly. Lyra smoothly intervened. We should find our table for dinner, Sophia. Our investors are waiting. Marcus finally tore his gaze from Arya. We should catch up later, Sophia, for old times' sake. I don't think we have anything to discuss, she said. His expression hardened slightly. I think we do. As they walked away, Sophia felt his eyes boring into her back. Lyra squeezed her hand in silent support. Who was that man? Arya asked. He looked at me funny. Just someone I used to know, Sophia answered, exchanging a worried glance with Lyra. That night, after Arya was asleep in their hotel suite, Sophia paced nervously. He knows, she said. One look at her and he knows. Lyra sat cross-legged on the bed, unusually still. What will he do? I don't know. Marcus isn't used to surprises and he doesn't like losing control. Does he have any legal claim to her? He's never been listed on the birth certificate. He's never provided support. He told me children didn't fit into his 5-year plan. Sophia's voice cracked with old pain. Lyra rose gracefully and embraced her. Then she's ours, and we'll protect her. Sophia melted into her arms, drawing strength from Lyra's unwavering presence. There's something else troubling me. During the presentation tomorrow, we'll have to demonstrate the core technology. Marcus will recognize elements of my original algorithm. Let him, Lyra said, her eyes taking on that strange intensity that sometimes made Sophia wonder. What you've built now goes far beyond anything he stole from you. Their embrace deepened, becoming something more urgent, a refuge against the storm they both sensed was coming. As they moved to the bed, bodies intertwining with practiced intimacy, Sophia pushed away thoughts of Marcus and tomorrow's confrontation. In Lyra's arms, beneath her gentle yet insistent touch, Sophia found a peace that had eluded her for most of her life. Her lover's skin glowed faintly in the darkness, warm beneath Sophia's exploring fingers. Whatever happens tomorrow, Lyra whispered against her neck, remember that we've built something remarkable, not just the company, us, Sophia agreed, surrendering to the moment, to Lyra, to the future they were creating together, a future that had suddenly become much more complicated. The morning after their unexpected encounter with Marcus, Sophia awoke to find Lyra standing by the hotel window, her silhouette outlined by dawn light that seemed to pass through her skin in an unusual way. You're glowing, Sophia observed, her voice still husky with sleep. Lyra turned, momentarily startled. It's just the sunrise, she said, moving away from the window. Their presentation that afternoon was a triumph. The celestial system's predictive algorithm demonstrated capabilities that left the audience murmuring in excitement. Even the most skeptical analysts couldn't argue with the results. Market predictions accurate to within fractions of a percentage point, behavioral analyses that seemed to anticipate human decisions before they were made. The applications for this technology are limitless, Sophia concluded. From healthcare to climate science to financial markets, anywhere complex systems interact with human behavior. During the Q&A, Marcus stood up from his seat in the back. Impressive work, he acknowledged. But I'm curious about the core architecture. The pattern recognition matrix bears striking similarities to theoretical work done at Blackwood Technologies several years ago. The downtown Seattle rain drummed against the windows of Blackwood Technologies, creating a melancholy rhythm that matched Sophia Chen's racing heartbeat. She stood in Marcus Blackwood's minimalist corner office, staring at the man she'd trusted not only with her revolutionary algorithm, but with her heart. You're firing me? Sophia's voice trembled, her hands instinctively moving to her stomach, still flat despite the life growing within. Marcus leaned against his desk, his tailored suit as impeccable as his timing. At 39, he carried the confidence of a man who had built an empire from nothing, his dark eyes calculating beneath perfectly styled hair. Let's call it a corporate restructuring, Sophia. Your department is being absorbed. The day after I gave you access to my quantum neural network algorithm, the same algorithm you called the future of artificial intelligence? She gripped the chair in front of her, steadying herself. Your work has been promising, but ultimately the board feels it needs more development before it's marketable. He adjusted his cufflinks, avoiding her eyes. Your severance package is generous. 2 months' salary, health benefits through the quarter. And my research? My code? Sophia's voice hardened. Per your contract, all work conducted under Blackwood Technologies remains intellectual property of the company. The words hit her like physical blows. 3 years of her life, countless sleepless nights, all taken with the stroke of a pen. And now, with a baby coming, his baby, she was being discarded. I'm pregnant, Marcus, she whispered, the words hanging between them like smoke. His expression didn't change, but something flickered behind his eyes. I see. That's all you have to say? I see. Tears threatened, but she blinked them back. This is your child, too. Marcus straightened his already straight tie. Sophia, our arrangement was always temporary. Pleasurable, but temporary. He walked to the window, his back to her. Children don't fit into my 5-year plan. Our arrangement? Is that what you call 6 months of dinners, weekends, and promises? I never promised you anything beyond the moment. You knew who I was when this started. His voice remained calm, reasonable, making her feel irrational by comparison. I'll arrange for proper medical care, of course, but beyond that. I don't want your money, Sophia interrupted, dignity surging through her grief. Not for me, not for this child. He turned, studying her as if she were a malfunctioning prototype. Don't be dramatic. Everyone wants something. Not everyone is like you, Marcus. She gathered her things, movements precise despite her shaking hands. Keep the algorithm. It was always just the beginning of what I could do. As she walked toward the door, he called after her. Sophia, be reasonable. You're in no position to make threats. She paused, turning to face him one last time. It's not a threat, Marcus. It's a promise. One day you'll realize what you threw away today. The rain had intensified when Sophia stepped out of the gleaming Blackwood Technologies tower. Security had escorted her down. A final humiliation. Her workspace had been packed into a single cardboard box. 32 years of life, a master's from MIT, and 3 years of groundbreaking research reduced to office supplies and a dying potted plant. In her apartment that night, Sophia cried until she had no tears left. She stared at the ceiling, thinking about the child growing inside her, a child who would never know its father. Her phone buzzed with messages from co-workers who had heard the news of her departure, but none dared cross Marcus to offer real support. Just before midnight, her phone lit up with a text from Marcus. The company lawyer will contact you tomorrow with paperwork. Discretion is appreciated. Sophia read the message twice, then deleted it. She placed her hand on her stomach and whispered, "We don't need him. We'll build something better, something he can't steal." As she drifted toward sleep, her mind raced with fragments of code and new algorithmic patterns, ideas that had never occurred to her while working for Blackwood. Perhaps freedom, even when forced upon her, would prove to be the greatest gift Marcus could have given her. By morning, her tears had dried, replaced by a steely resolve. Marcus Blackwood thought he had ended her career and discarded her. He would learn how wrong he was. The small town of Aurora Peak sat nestled in the mountains, 3 hours from Seattle, but a world away from the glass and steel of corporate America. Famous for its observatory and clear night skies, it attracted scientists and dreamers alike. For Sophia Chen, it offered something more precious: anonymity. 6 months pregnant and running on determination rather than money, Sophia rented a small cabin on the outskirts of town. Her savings wouldn't last forever, but they would buy her time. Time to regroup, rebuild, and reinvent herself beyond Marcus Blackwood's shadow. "You're quite far along to be moving to a new place," observed Dr. Eleanor Martinez during Sophia's first prenatal visit at the local clinic. The doctor's kind eyes studied her with professional concern. "Fresh start," Sophia replied simply, wincing as the cold gel was applied to her rounded belly. "Well, everything looks healthy. Strong heartbeat." Dr. Martinez smiled. "Have you thought about birth classes? It's good to have support." Sophia swallowed. "I'm doing this alone." After the appointment, Sophia wandered into the town's only cafe, the Cosmic Cup. The walls were decorated with stunning photographs of nebulae and galaxies, and the air smelled of cinnamon and coffee. "First time in Aurora Peak?" The voice came from behind the counter where a woman was arranging pastries. She looked up, and Sophia felt her breath catch. The woman had striking features: high cheekbones, almond-shaped eyes with unusual violet irises, and skin with a subtle purple undertone that Sophia initially attributed to the cafe's lighting. Her dark hair fell in waves past her shoulders, and her smile held a knowing warmth. "Is it that obvious?" Sophia asked. "Small town. New faces stand out." The woman extended her hand. "I'm Lyra." "Sophia." Their fingers touched, and Sophia felt an unexpected jolt. Not unpleasant, but startling. Lyra's eyes flickered to Sophia's belly. "You look like you could use something more substantial than coffee. Our soup today is homemade tomato basil." Before Sophia could decline, a bowl appeared before her, along with a glass of water and fresh bread. "On the house," Lyra said. "Welcome to Aurora Peak." That encounter marked the beginning of an unexpected friendship. Lyra, it turned out, wasn't just a barista, but the owner of the Cosmic Cup and an astrophysicist who worked part-time at the observatory. She had a brilliant mind that matched Sophia's own, and a peculiar way of looking at problems from angles Sophia had never considered. "Your algorithm sounds fascinating," Lyra said one evening as they sat on Sophia's porch watching the stars emerge. By then, Sophia had shared parts of her story, though never mentioning Marcus by name. "It was, but I don't have access to the processing power needed to rebuild it." Sophia sighed, shifting to accommodate her now heavy belly. Lyra's expression turned thoughtful. Maybe you don't need to rebuild it exactly. Maybe you need to evolve it. 2 weeks later, Sophia went into labor during a spectacular meteor shower. With Lyra by her side, coaching her through each contraction, she brought Arya Chen into the world. A tiny, perfect being with a shock of black hair and eyes that already seemed to hold the wisdom of stars. In the months that followed, Lyra became more than a friend. She helped with midnight feedings, brought meals when Sophia was too exhausted to cook, and most importantly, helped Sophia reimagine her algorithm. Your former approach was too linear, Lyra explained, her fingers flying over the keyboard of Sophia's laptop. You're thinking in human patterns. Try this instead. The code she demonstrated was unlike anything Sophia had seen, elegant, efficient, and somehow intuitive in a way that shouldn't have been possible. How did you come up with this? Sophia asked, amazed. Lyra smiled enigmatically. Let's just say I see things differently. As Arya grew from infant to toddler, Sophia and Lyra built more than just code in the quiet of Aurora Peak. They built a company, Celestial Systems, starting with remote consulting work and gradually developing their own software. Their specialty became predictive algorithms that seemed almost prescient in their accuracy. By Arya's 3rd birthday, they had moved from the cabin to a modest house closer to town. By her 5th, they had 15 employees working remotely and a growing reputation in the tech world. We should patent this, Sophia said one night, looking at their latest breakthrough. An AI that could predict market shifts with unprecedented accuracy. Not yet, Lyra cautioned, her unusual eyes reflecting the computer screen. The moment we do will draw attention. Are you ready for that?